Have you ever had a moment that you realize that a lot of things around you is changing? The job is changing, going through another transformation. The business is now having to change. The team dynamics are changing. Your kids are growing up. They're changing. They're getting older. They're becoming more independent. The marriage is now going through another evolution. Your body is changing. A lot of things are changing around you that you feel like, hey, I am now navigating a new season of my life that is now requiring me to lean in humility more, that was requiring me to now really have a moment to rest and recover. It's requiring me to depend more on God. Today, I want to talk about three leadership cornerstones that we can use as anchors, that we continue to use as a way to ground ourselves, no matter the seasons that we find ourselves in. The season of preparation, the season of letting go, the season of abundance, the season of growth, the season of tearing down, the season of rebuilding. No matter the season that we define ourselves to be in, we can continue to hold on to these three leadership cornerstones. Welcome to Leadership for the Soul. Hey, neighbor. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray. And this is Happy Hood, the podcast, Leadership for the Soul, where faith meets everyday leadership, purpose is built one decision at a time, and growth is intentional. Leadership begins on the inside, because before we can lead others, we must first learn to lead ourselves. Leadership for the Soul on Happy Hood, the podcast. So, I am in a new season. My what's changing? Okay, you ask. As I said, and I have talked about this many times, that loved ones are going on to heaven. My kids, my daughter, she's driving now, has a car, has a job. My son, he's changed, his body is changing. My nieces and nephews. I have a grand niece, I guess. I'm a great uncle. I know I probably said that all wrong, but I'm a great uncle now. My some of my nieces are looking at, they going off to college. One is looking at law school. My nephew's engaged. It's like a lot of things is changing around me. The job is changing, having to change things around the business. I'm in a new season. And I think if we again, as I think about and not, get hysterical and really just take a moment and breathe, inhale, exhale. None of this should be surprising, right? That yes, the kids are going to get older. Okay. Yes, one day we'll find ourselves, it's just me and you, babe. We're back. It's just you and me. The kids are gone, right? As much as I hate to think about it, yes, loved ones will get older and they will go home to heaven. Yes, things will occur on the job and the business that will require us to change. It's no surprise, right? We shouldn't be surprised about these things, right? I get it. But one thing that I am starting to really anchor towards, and really, as I think about it, I thank God for kind of giving me this perspective that even though the things around you are changing, there are certain things that continue to remain the same, that can continue to be your anchor, that will help you no matter the season that you're in. No matter the season that you're in. So let's get into it. Three leadership cornerstones that we can use practice, apply that will help us in no matter the seasons that we're in. No matter season of abundance, season of waiting, season of success, season of disappointment. These leadership cornerstones will continue to guide us. So the first one I want to talk about is humility. Humility. Now, humility, and let me just say this: none of these leadership cornerstones I feel will be it's not going to be earth shattering. But one thing that I am learning, and again, using humility as this first one, is humility in one season can look totally different in another season. What you felt you have learned and have come to a moment of being humble or practicing humbleness, now this new thing comes to where you having to relearn humility. You have to relearn patience. You have to relearn these things. You feel like, hey, I thought I learned that in that season. You learn one part of it. You learn 101. Now you want humility 103, right? Now you want it's different playing field of this type of humility. And what I mean by that is if you're experiencing the mountaintop, you're experiencing the success, the abundance. Humility on the mountaintop can look totally different than humility in the valley. Humility in the mountaintop, it's your pride that you gotta kind of like pump the brakes on. Because humility on the mountaintop with the growth, with abundance, you can be thinking like, hey, look at all the things I did. Wow, look at all the stuff we have here. And humility has to whisper to you, like, hold up, buddy. Yeah, none of this will be possible without God. And humility has to come in and give you verses like James 4:10. Humble yourself before the Lord, and he will lift you up. Humility has to whisper verses like Proverbs 11:2. When pride comes, then comes disgrace. But with humility comes wisdom. And then it's the valley seasons, the season of waiting, the season of disappointment, to where these moments may feel like, am I ever going to get to the top of the mountain? Is this ever going to be over? Am I ever going to not have all these changes around me? And it's those moments where we may feel that our disappointment, the failure that we're experiencing, is our identity. And we have to say, our humility has to whisper into us, like, no, buddy, this is a learning period. You in a learning, you're growing, you're actually growing. You're actually growing. You're learning. So yes, it's supposed to be sometimes, challenging, or it's going to be challenging. I had to come to this understanding the other day, to where, again, as I said before, my daughter, she's driving, she has a job now. And I had to like realize, come to a moment where, and sometimes I would say like, hey, I never been here before. You my first and only daughter, like you child number one. And again, if no parents that our first child's like, we experiment, like I think we'll come to a moment, or they will come to a moment, like as they get older and have kids on themselves, they'll realize that, yeah, we really didn't know what we was doing. Yeah, we didn't know, like we didn't know, right? And I had to come to a moment, like, and just right, like, yo, you're learning. You're learning how to navigate this new season that you're in. She has a guy friend. Like, we have to. We're navigating. You've never been here before, so it's okay to have those moments of fear, moments of worry, but you have to kind of go back and say, hey, humility. Hey, no, we're learning, right? God is still in control. God is guiding me through this. Lord, I don't know what to do. Direct me in this. So humility is one of those cornerstones, no matter what season that we find ourselves in. Humility remains the same. The second cornerstone I want to talk about is rest. And this is something I had to really put to practice, and I had to really be humble around. So we recently made a decision with my son that we will take a break from football, take a break from sports these next couple of months. And it came from just our, having a heart to heart conversation. I had noticed some things change in his body, in which, now that we have worked with a physical therapist and a chiropractor, like, his body is changing, right? And there's some things where, things are growing, right? And it may seem kind of, you know, not the form is off a little bit. And not only that his body is changing, but again, as he has more mental and emotional awareness, we had a hard conversation about, hey, you still want to do this? I see that you don't seem as excited no more to do these certain things. And again, we came to the agreement that, hey, yeah, we'll take a moment off just to prevent burnout. And through that conversation, it really helped me to be humble, practice some humility, right? That, yeah, we need to continue to make this as an application. That, and is rest is not something that we do as we think about it as the finish. Like, we will rest once we finish. No, rest is part of something that we do on a continuous basis. That is something that we do to continue to go on. Like, rest is the requirement for continuing. It's a requirement for continuing. And we think about from the mountaintop perspective that, hey, the mountaintop, we may think, hey, let me just keep going. Let's keep the momentum going. Let's keep it, moving in the right direction. Keep growing. But rest would say, hey, buddy, let's take a moment to just rest, rejuvenate. Let's take a moment to not just be overspan ourselves. So now we put all this on our plate. Let's take our time with it. In the valley, we may feel like, hey, let me keep grinding through it. Let me just keep going. It's going to happen soon. And let me keep putting in hours in. And yes, I starting to, see others that they're doing it. And we starting to compare ourselves. Well, I should be able to do this. We can compare ourselves even on the mountaintop that, oh, they're at a higher peak than me. Let me keep going. And rest will whisper like, no, let me slow down, take a moment to reflect, take a moment to reset, take a moment just to rest. That busyness is not, it does not equate to effectiveness. And just because we have all these line of things, our schedule is packed, doesn't mean that we are effective. And if we think about it, 9 out of 10 times, we have meetings just sometimes just to have the meeting that we talking about, or to meet about the next meeting that we're supposed to have. We have these things like, what's the objective here? Rest helps us to understand that, as I said before, it's not something that we do at the end. Rest is a requirement for continuing. Even Jesus, one of the greatest examples, the greatest leaders that we can really glean from, he taught rest. He told his disciples in Mark 6:31, he said, come with me by yourself to a quiet place and get some rest. Jesus said it to his disciples, even in the middle of ministry. Crowds were following him. People still had needs. And his response, like, no, let's not push through and just continue to, we got momentum now. Let's continue to make things happen. Say, hey, no, let's come with me by yourself to a quiet place and get some rest. Get some rest. So we see that again, no matter the season that we may find ourselves in, rest is that cornerstone. Rest will give us the ability to understand that, hey, it's not something that we do as a finish, as reward for finishing. Rest is the requirement for continuing. So the third cornerstone that will continue to remain the same no matter the season that we're in. We talked about humility. We talked about rest. The third one is dependence on God. Dependence on God. And this is an interesting one, because one thing that I as I take a step back and just kind of reflect, culture will say, hey, be self-made. You're a self-made man, you're a self-made woman, you're a boss, all these things, right? And when I hear those things, either verbatim or if it's more of a roundabout way, I cringe, because it is definitely misleading. right? It's misleading from those that are leading from the soul, right? And it's that perspective that really tempt us when we're having those mountaintop experience, the mountaintop seasons of growth, abundance, that the success would tempt us towards independence. It would tempt us to think that, oh, I did all this myself. I got it out the mud, right? I climbed up, I fought for it, I grind for this, man. I deserve all this. Look, all the stuff I did, I had to go through, right? And it will give us this falsehood that we did all this, that all this was done based on our will to overcome oppositions, right? And even from the valley perspective, preservation, it's a survival, right? We're surviving. Like I'm grinding out here. I had to protect myself. I had to protect others. I had to keep going. I'm grinding out here. I had to protect all these things, into where again we feel like we're alone with it. And dependency on God is really just kind of understand that, hey, apart from him, you can't do you can do nothing. And that's again from John 15. It's just that helps us to understand that you can't do nothing without God. Like, apart from me, you can do nothing. And it's also kind of highlights the verse in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 of trust in Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. That again, if we especially become overindulged in our success, the danger really becomes that we believe we can do this on our own, that we can will ourselves over this, that we can just simply just, maintain, survive in the valley, that we can just, continue to have be puffed up with like, hey, this is me. I did this. Look where I grind. This, look how I grinded. That we lose the sight that, hey, we got to be dependent on God. And using David in the Bible, David himself, he had years that he reigned, years that he was battle tested, years that again he had to go through either people chasing him, or as king, he had to protect himself, and even throughout all those things, he still asked God what to do before he moved. And it wasn't because he didn't know how to do it. It's because that he knew that, hey, winning really actually came from you, God. That you help me to navigate these things. You help me to push through these things. So I can't do it without God. I can't move. I can't go into this business meeting, this pitch without God help. I can't I can't raise these kids, you know, by myself. I need God. I need you to direct me in this. God, I can't. I, I done went from one income stream. Now I got three income streams. God, this abundance, I can't, man. How am I, man? God, I need you to help me to manage all these things, to not get puffed up with my own self that I did this. God, this is it's not, first of all, it's not even my business, it's your business, God. Them ain't your this them ain't my kids. That's your kids, God. You know what I'm saying? This ain't my job. This is your job, God. Once we understand and use that different tone and language, we'll understand that, yeah, this ain't through me. This ain't through my own power and will. This ain't through my own strength. This is through God strengthening me. This is through the power that God has given me to do these things. So, three leadership cornerstones that will continue to remain the same no matter the season that we're in. No matter the season of the mountaintops, the valleys, that we'll continue to humble ourselves, that we'll continue to practice rest, that we'll continue to be dependent on God. God is guiding us. And as we become rooted in faith, we're able to become leaders worth following. Leadership for the soul. Till next time, love God, love yourself, love your neighbor. I'm your favorite neighbor, Jay Murray. Be blessed.